rose water. Here's a cup of freshly harvested rose petals. I have 1.5 cups of water that I'm going to add. I'm going to add a twist with some non-alcoholic witch hazel. I said alcoholic, non-alcohol. There's my jar. So I'm pouring the water in there, and I'm going to allow it to boil. Once it starts boiling, then I'm going to add the rose petals. Once the rose petal, look, there it is, it's boiling. Now it's time for me to add the rose petals. And once I put them all in there, the key to that is to stir it up with a spoon, like I'm doing. I'm using a wooden spoon to make sure all the petals are covered. So I didn't think that they were completely covered. So I got a little bit more water to top them off so that they all would definitely be diluted. So once I pour my water in there, then I'm going to put the lid back on, and it's going to simmer for about 20 minutes. I'm going to turn the heat down to, I just had it like on, number 1, on the lowest setting to allow it to just sit there and simmer and steep. And what happens is all the color is going to come out of the rose petals. Once it's done for that 20 minutes, I set my alarm, of course, then I turn it off, allow it to just cool off for an additional 20 minutes. Then I gather up my strainer, a pot to put the strainer in, and I have my container that I'm going to put the rose water in to be able to utilize it. Look, it's still boiling right there. So that's the part where I just leave it and let it do what it's supposed to do. Now it has cooled off and I'm pouring it in there. And what am I going to do with those rose petals? I'm going to compost them. I'm not going to throw them away. I'll compost them so that it can go into my garden. Put them back in the jar and I'll use them. So now it's time to pour the rose water into my measuring cup. The container that I'm going to put them in, it is a 12-ounce spray bottle that I got from the dollar store, or really it's the $1.25 store. So there it is. Look at that beautiful color, rose water. It is DIY. Remember, you can make your own, because guess what? When you go to the store and you buy it, it should say rose petals and water. If it says something else, that's too much. So be aware. That's the non-alcohol witch hazel. That's going to give it a little twist. But like I was saying, be aware when you purchase items from the store. Just like anything else, you need to read the label. Read the label. Because you're going to be putting that on your skin. Those are dried rose petals right there. You could also use those. But you would actually, I use 1 cup of fresh. You would use like 1.5 cups of the dried. There's the little jar I was talking about. And I even labeled it. I have the little chalk board stickers and pins. So I ended up adding, I had 12 ounces in there. So I ended up adding 9 ounces of the rose water and 1 ounce of the witch hazel. So I have 3 ounces of rose water left. I'll be utilizing that to put in my diffuser, or even make a little fall simmer pot to put on the stove to freshen the air in my house. I'll be using this for my skin, for my hair. I can spritz it when I'm ironing as well. And it could be a spritzer for makeup setting.